The pieces are coming together, folks. The G20 summit is this year. Policymakers are getting in position. Governments are getting in position. The SEC is acting a fool. And now we have a crypto council for innovation. It is starting to feel like Star Wars. Stick around. Welcome back to another episode of your Digital News. So, Fidelity, Square, and others have launched the Crypto Council for Innovation. Okay, allowing lobby lawmakers, and to develop resources to help both industries and investors better understand the elusive world of crypto. Now, on the outside, on the cover, okay, guys, this is essentially an organization that is aiming to come together in order to educate the masses on cryptocurrency. Now, I grew up in the 90s, all right? That means I saw 2001 firsthand, okay? Firsthand, seen it firsthand. I seen 2008 firsthand. When these companies come together, they ain't trying to educate nobody. not all honesty, but ladies and gentlemen, let's just get into it because it's important to know what these people are doing. Okay. And also want to take you back to our friends over at NYDIG. Okay. Mr. Buterman. He was not joking because the first name on this list was the last name that he mentioned in the sentence of big names that were coming into the crypto space in the month of April, starting with Fidelity Investments. And Square Inc., as well as others, have now formed a global council that seeks to change the way digital assets are understood and regulated. The Crypto Council for Innovation, launched Tuesday, will lobby lawmakers and develop resources to help both industries and investors better understand the elusive world of crypto. Exchange Coinbase and investment firm Paradigm are initial council members. Okay, let me tell you where they went wrong first. Lobby. I learned what that term actually meant. I wouldn't say in school. It was definitely after, my formal education. But lobbying simply means to use a quote from one of my favorite films, aggressive negotiations. Okay. Aggressive negotiations with lawmakers to develop resources to help both industries and investors better understand the elusive world of crypto. Now, who do you think that they're looking at as industry and investors? They're people. Okay. So whatever information they look to, give to the masses through this will definitely be filtered. Okay. Thus is the importance of channels like mine. But going forward, we know that this is a quote from Gus Codabella, Chief Policy Officer at Paradigm. We know that crypto holds immense promise for spurring economic growth and creating jobs, improving financial inclusion and access, and enhancing privacy and security. That promise transcends borders. That is why we help policymakers, regulators, and individuals anywhere in the world to understand the benefits of crypto. CCI says it has a mission to demonstrate the transformational promise of crypto and communicate its benefits to policymakers, regulators, and people around the globe, as it says on its website. The launch comes amid a flurry of crypto endorsements from the biggest names in finance. Morgan Stanley is getting ready to offer crypto to its clients. Goldman filed a cryptocurrency-tied exchange-traded product, and BNY Mellon hopes to offer Bitcoin custody as well this year. And they forgot to mention that Goldman Sachs Grayscale, is aiming for that ETF as well. Bitcoin is up 96% year to date, and investors want in on the returns. But even with greater institutional interest, the asset class remains clouded with skepticism. CCI aims to debunk some of the common misconceptions surrounding crypto. So, is this bullish? Is it really? Because if played correctly, and they do, what the website says that they're going to do, this can prove wonders for crypto, because more knowledge will bring more investors, obviously. But what information are they giving you? See, ladies and gentlemen, that's always the stickler. What information are they giving you? Because the corporations know one thing, us investors, us who have been in the space, we know one thing. They know another. Sometimes we know what they don't know yet, but you won't get that type of information from one of these councils. Okay. I say this is bullish short-term, bearish long-term, because when business tries to educate, it's always filtered, guys. It's always filtered. But I think that's enough of my opinion on this subject. This is just another breadcrumb. Okay, guys, tie this in so that way we keep all of this in context. Tie this in with the news of the Iowa state legalizing smart contracts. Tie this in with the SEC's plays on Ripple and Library. Tie this in with Tether's whole fiasco. Okay. And never forget about our Fed chairman, Mr. Jerome Powell. Okay. He was quoted as saying that this is the year that we plan on educating the public on digital assets. And now we have the Crypto Council for Innovation that is primarily backed by corporations. Enough said. Don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, thanks for coming back to the channel. Feel free to get down at me in the comments. Let's talk about this, really. How does it make you feel? Is this good for crypto? Is this bad for crypto? Only time will tell. But as always, guys, you can get at me on social media, the Tweet Machine, Digitals 2021, as well as Library, centralized alternative YouTube, no ads, dope content, free cryptos. Can't beat it. While you're down there, check out Pipeflare, guys. It's how I support independent blockchain video game developers as well. If you're new to crypto, also check out KuCoin, one of the hottest exchanges for us in the States. Okay. Lots of low cap gems on there, and you can make massive returns on your investment. And that's the point of why we're here, guys. We're here to make some money. So with that being said, guys, have a great day. Have a prosperous day. Most importantly, make that money. I'll see you in the next video.
There's so many G's out there, it's easy to get confused. There's actually a G5. There was the G6, and then there was the G7, the G8, there's a G20. The G's really started back in 1975 when you had 6 countries get together. That was the G6, and you had the US, the UK, Germany, France, Japan, and Italy. And they were the first, they were the 6. And they got together actually to talk about what was then the oil crisis that was going on and to have a bit of a confab about it. And then from there it became an annual thing. They thought, why not continue this on? They found it worthwhile. The next year they added Canada, so it became the G7. And then a little bit later on, Russia came along and was admitted. And there you have your G8. The original concept of the summits was for world leaders to get together, get to know each other, have a forum where they could just chat about things going on in the world. Initially it was mainly economic things, trade deficits, stuff like that, and it evolved into discussing political things. One of the early ones was like 1982, the Israeli invasion of Lebanon. In '83, you had the US putting missiles into Europe. That became a topic of discussion, and it evolved along those lines to where we see today, where they're pretty much discussing just about anything that they feel is of importance to the world and world economies as well. The groups have always attracted critics, and in many cases, as we've seen in the past, violence as well. Protesters from trades unions to environmentalists and anarchists as well. A lot of the more extreme protesters blame the members of the G8 for pretty much all of the world's ills, from debt and poverty in Africa all the way through to global warming. And they show up pretty much to make their voices heard and say that it's an anachronistic group, an elite group that actually, far from solving some of the world's problems, is causing a lot of the world's problems. And that's when you see these protests, many of which in the past have gotten out of hand. And so you've often seen now in recent times the G8 meetings have been further and further isolated. They're not held in, if you like, easily accessible places or places easily accessible to protesters. Another criticism the G8 has faced is that it's not really representative of the world's great economies. There are those who say, well, you've got Canada in the G8, but at the same time you don't have India, you don't have China. Because partly of that criticism, we saw in 1999 the formation of the G20. They added in another 11 countries, and to be more inclusive, countries like Australia, there's a bunch of others, but and 11 and 8 equals 19. What's the 20th? The European Union. They come along for the ride as well. And they also meet every year and discuss things. Now, this is not a meeting of world leaders. This is a meeting of finance ministers and the governors of banks. And they get together, and it's a financial basis to the meeting. And if you needed another G, there's also the G5, or it's actually called BRICS, the acronym being Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And they meet as well. And so you've got Gs all over the place.